Ladies and gentlemen, spies and pirates, welcome to season 2 of Nine and Out. I am Kip here with creator, producer Turbo Cop, producer Pretender on camera, and we have DJ who is moderating chat, so definitely hit him up with any questions you have. And then our special guests tonight from Evil Beastly Minions are Pete the Plumber and Mamboulay. Take it away, Turbo Cop.
Hey guys, hey Mamboulay, hey Pete the Plumber. Good well not with us.
Hey.
Cold, taking the season off. Thanks for everything. For starters, shout out to Cold. Thanks for an awesome season 1. You were amazing. And yeah, we have a few announcements for you today. So first up, CEVO registration closing in 4 days. So if you're interested in sixes, one of the best sixes leagues out there right now, CEVO registration going up now. You can definitely find it on the CEVO site. Easy to find there. Taunt Gamers over at tauntgamers.com. Their forums are having their second annual Taunt Ulti Duo tournament. Some prizes are involved, and I think we might get that covered, we might not, but that's definitely an event going on this week. And ETF2L just had their week 2 premiership game. Skid Whale just casted that a couple hours ago. And yeah, over back in the TF2 Highlander realm of things, we had our first week 1 UGC Platinum games. 16 teams now, so the recap's going to take a little bit longer than it normally does. First off,
Not if you talk fast.
That's true. I could talk even faster. Let's see. Last night we saw MTS right here on this channel against Street Hoops. The MTS won out convincingly 2-1. EBM, you guys played against the Tryhards, winners of gold last season. You guys told me it was pretty close at the end there.
Yeah, but we beefed it.
Yeah, 1-2 there. DK beats out the Runaway 5, although I have confirmation from everyone there. It wasn't quite such a great game. The server was acting for them. Taco Bell Bonanza beat out WPFG. I don't remember what that acronym stands for.
Wild Purple-Footed Goose Boys.
Thank you. Wild Purple-Footed Goose Boys get taken out 1-2 against the Taco Bell. JK wins pretty handily against PFL. Rumble Pack newcomers versus the Space Bears. Space Bears drop a game at the very end for a 2-1 there. Bonus, playing a little bit of off-classing against the Electric Temptations, and Electric Temptations, strong team, taking them out 2-0. And DRS takes on upcomers Sci-Fi, and DRS takes it out 2-0, but they also had some technical issues on their side, so no one was super convinced about the results of that game either. So we have EBM. We have a lot of new teams here, so we're gonna have a lot of guests over here on Nine and Out. I might even do like a 2-team special someday. We'll see about that. But yeah, I know.
That's definitely a good thing, though, right?
That would be great. Yeah, no, it's 16 teams now in Platinum, and you guys are one of the well, a lot of you have played in Platinum, but this EBM itself hasn't played in a full Platinum season yet, right?
Yeah, not yet.
No.
Like we got moved after this fall to Plat because we finished top 4, but we pretty much took a season off. Well, I don't know if we took a season off or if we disbanded, but pretty much we didn't play this winter, and then we got the team back together for this summer.
Yeah. So for those who don't understand how everyone got moved up, where was the cutoff for going into Platinum this season from Gold?
I believe by default they moved up the top 4, and then we had a couple teams like Rumble Pack requested to move up, Doppel's team or Space Bears requested to move up as well, and then you got a couple new teams forming, coming back. So
tell us a little bit about the EBM history, because you guys go way back together, right? You guys played for Cuties
When you were
last season.
yay high.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So you wanna? I don't know. I'll do some. So
Okay.
the real story is me and Mambo played way back in the day, 24/7 Gold Rush servers. Yeah, we were that cool. We had a forum we hang out on, and I kind of quit TF2 for a while and was browsing the forums, and Mambo had posted about forming like an iron team, and I was like, I always had good friends with him, somewhat like pub friend level, and I messaged him and said, I'd be willing to play with you on that. And then a couple weeks later, he started doing still tryouts. I said I'd play with him. I said I'd play whatever class you want me to. I don't really care. I just want to, have fun. And he said, well, you're actually going to play heavy. So that happened. But we played season of steel. Our first season, I think we were 12-1 or something like that. Regular season, we got bumped off first week in playoffs on Asheville. We moved up to gold the next season and had about a 500 record. Basically the same roster. And then the next season, had a little bit of a roster change, picked up a couple new people. We got a new soldier, a new demo, new sniper, and spy, I believe. And then we made it to playoffs again. We got all the way to like semifinals, lost that, and then we got 4th place because we lost 7 years dungeon in the runoff. Decided we didn't really want to continue with EBM at that point. Last season, Mamo and I ended up playing for the Cuties in gold. And this season, we decided we want to just make a team again and just go for plat, bring EBM back together, even though it's really only just me and him from the original roster. So
what happened at the end of season 11 then? Was it just disappointed with the lack of results at the end of things, or were some people drifting off?
There was some drifting off. It wasn't that bad about lack of results. There was some internal team issues we had that by the end of the season, it didn't end up being as much fun as it was at the start of the season, which kind of contributed to it. Mamboulay was kind of tired of leading a team. The only reason EBM really happened this season is because I told him I'd actually take on leading instead of him, because he kind of has stuff going on, Canadian stuff. I don't know what they do up there, but
It's moose stuff.
yeah, exactly. I don't know. There's just moose in his yard all the time. He has to kick out. So, and I told him I'd take leading role. So that's why it's a team this season.
Sweet. So what does that mean for you, like in terms of like things you have to do now and responsibilities and all that? Obviously finding everybody, right?
Yeah. To work on finding everybody, which so far I've been almost successful on, because we still technically don't have a soldier on the roster who's going to be playing with us. So we're going to find out something this week. Sorry. I also have to deal with scheduling, which turns out super fun. Not really, but it's okay. And just bugging everybody to get in the server, so it's not super bad. Previously, I just whispered my opinions into Mambo's ears. I was like the secret executioner on the team. I'm like, we do like good cop, bad cop, because Mambo's like the nice guy everybody loves, and then I'll be harsh. I'll be like, no, you're wrong.
Hey, I can be tough sometimes, right?
It can be tough.
Yeah, I guess, to some extent.
So let's hear your side of the history then, Mambo. Is that pretty much correct? I remember casting you guys, I think in your first season. Was that right? Do you remember that?
I still remember that. Like, I remember sending you like a big email. Like, I was so happy about the team, and then you responded, oh my god, that's so nice and stuff. So I still remember it, Kip.
Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah, but Pete gave you like the history from EBM when we formed to the point we're at now. I guess I could talk about the history before. So basically, my first experience in Highlander was TF2 the launching season. And I had a terrible experience actually with that. Like, the team was very disorganized, and I pretty much had a very bad opinion of HL. So after that first season, I was like, I'm never playing Highlander again, ever. So that went on for a while, for like a few months. And then pretty much I was pubbing with Pete and a few other people, and they all quit pubbing for Highlander. So I was like, well, I don't want to play here alone, I guess. So I started playing lobbies more seriously. And surprisingly, that's when I got picked up for Plat. So Platinum was actually my first season as Demo Man.
Is that season 6?
That was season 7, so that was 2 years ago.
Wow. I think that was that still when there was just plat and steel?
I think there was silver as well.
Okay.
There's silver.
So anyways,
wow.
You're gonna have to like remind me, because season 6 is like a little bit before my time. So I had no idea. You just been picked up right up from a lobby. Someone said, I want to play with Mamboulay right after like seeing on TF2 lobby.
That's how we did it back in the day. That's how we got our sniper on my team.
Lobby recruitment.
Yeah.
Lobbies had more skill, I guess. So, I mean, I was still lucky, you know? Like, I got lucky and got spotted on lobbies, basically. It wasn't that uncommon back then, but I definitely got lucky. I wasn't the only one, though. Like, I played Maxi Sniper Extraordinaire and Deer the Spy, who's now on Dunning-Kruger effect, but he was previously up to very recently on Electric Temptations. They were on my team, and we were playing together. It was our first season in Plat, along with many others on the team. So, I mean, I got lucky for sure, but it wasn't that uncommon.
But that was still
So,
season 7, right?
Mm.
season 7, yeah.
It's the season of Canal Zone.
Yeah, Canal Zone, exactly. Canal Zone, I think
Sick.
upsteer to a few. It was back when summer was still a fun season and there were still fun maps.
Canal Zone was a fun map, apparently, in case you didn't know.
So what team was that for?
It was for IFA Omega. So like one of if we want to compare it to EBM, like IFA had like 5 teams across every division, and I guess that's similar to EBM to some extent because I think 1 year ago we had a team in Iron 2, Evil Beastly Squirrels. We had a team in Sixes, Evil Beastly Pandas. So I guess we could compare it to IFA to some extent. But pretty much after IFA summer season, I had a wonderful experience compared to my first season in ETF2L, if you remember me talking about that. So I had a great experience. I definitely learned a lot. And the next season, I really felt like leading a team. So I went to Pete and Red Rum, who I had known for about 3 or 4 years, like Pete said, from pubs. Surprisingly, I think I actually they never heard me talk before.
That's true.
Is that right, Pete?
That is
Yeah.
very true.
So
He
like
was this guy in the pub who never talked, and I was pretty much convinced he wasn't gonna actually talk on the team. Like he was gonna like type stuff in game chat or something during the game. I don't
Oh,
even
yeah?
know what I thought, but and we heard his silky smooth French Canadian accent.
like surprisingly, I went from not talking that much to being main caller for our first season. So that was definitely a step up. But yeah, so we got together. Like I went to Peter and Red Rum. We got together, and soonly after EBM was born. It was my first season as competitive medic, and I've played the class since pretty much.
So now that you've stepped down, is like things just like a little bit easier for you to handle? Well, first of all, why'd you step down from being team leader for like leading teams for like over 2 years now, at least? Like you might want to yeah. So has it been like a little bit easier for you? Well, I guess maybe you should talk about why you're actually stepping down, right? There's a lot of stuff going down.
Scandal.
Right.
Scandal.
It's not that big of like. It doesn't take that much time. Like, of course, it depends on the teams. Some teams will have trouble finding scrims, and I'm guessing in the lower divisions, like having teams cancel on you can be tough and it can be a headache. But in gold and plat, really, it's not that hard. Of course, it takes some time, but I'd say, I mean, I'm glad I have free time, you know? Like, even if it doesn't take that much time, it's that much time that I have to do other stuff. So, it can be a lot of drama sometimes. So far, there's been no drama, so I'm definitely happy about that. Like, we're very happy about all of our pickups so far.
Yeah, it sounds like
great attitude.
Yeah, you guys totally new roster. It's you and Pete and then 7 people that haven't like played on teams together before, right?
Yeah, let's talk roster.
Pretty much.
How did you form the dream? This is like, I think it's EBM's the only team that's like formed like a completely new. Oh, that's not true. The purple-footed guys did as well. They formed a completely new roster.
Taco Bell did too. Taco Bell.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, Taco Bell did too. So, were you guys competing over players a little bit, or did you guys have like different ideas of what you wanted versus them? Did it even get discussed, or?
Yeah, kind of. Like we had the list of players we wanted. Like we pretty much had 3-4 players on each class that I discussed with Pete, and we pretty much went to them and asked if they wanted to try out. Competition. Were there competition? I guess there was to some extent, but I mean we're very happy about all of our pickups, and we couldn't ask for better because they're all of our first choices, I think, and they definitely all have the attitude to improve and to keep their heads cool, even like when things are getting hot. I think you talked about what does it take to keep a team alive, and that's definitely what every team should strive for. Like if they want to survive without wanting to get hit, like if they want to survive without wanting to hit each other in the face every time. after each trip, you know. So everyone on the team has great attitude, super positive. Like even after losses, everything is chill. We have tons of fun playing with each other right now, and so yeah, really, Pete and I are extremely happy, and we've had so much fun playing with each other.
So who
Right,
was
so-
one of the players that you had to go out and get, or like who you heavily recruited, or that you ended up getting?
Who do you
Who
like
were
the
you
most?
really excited about? Yeah, who's your favorite son or child?
Uh-oh.
We're asking you to choose.
Pete is my
Um,
favorite child here.
Yeah.
So
I don't
this
know.
this is
Me,
your
Mambo.
chance though, to shout out all your players and let people know, especially if they've never played in Platinum before, this is what they've done
Yeah.
before, things like that.
So,
And why you
well, if I go down the roster, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had picked up Caroline on demo. It was just kind of like a demo. Like actually the previous time, because we actually previously took a season break with EBM and reformed it. The previous time we tried him out on demo, and we actually went with somebody who was just a closer friend, actually like a move up from Evil Beastly Squirrels to the Iron Team. Picked Arch on demo that season. But we had actually been having trials with other teams before we decided to make a team, and we played with him a couple times in trials and just really liked him. So we pursued him. We got Wild on Spy, who was like our favorite spy / we thought he was amazing back in the day when he played, and he's taken a couple seasons off, and we convinced him. I don't know how much we had to beg him to come back. It wasn't that much. We weren't that desperate.
How much
No.
did you
He's
bribe
an
him?
easy guy.
I have not offered money sums to anybody on the team.
there's no prize pool this season, just letting you
There's
know.
no prize pool. So we got him. We got Waka on engineer, who was our first choice on engineer as well. Those were our first 3 pickups, I believe. After that, we offered Johnny a spot. Hard-ass Johnny, who was down DRS last season. He's got a couple. He brings a lot. He's got a really positive attitude. Brings some plat experience in.
Recently
We really
voted,
wanted to.
Recently voted most well-liked player in UGC. I
Pretty
think
much. I mean,
tied with Mamboulay, I think.
we pretty much got the 2 most liked people on the team, and so everybody's just got like crushes on our team, and then there's like me to like balance it out because I'd be a dick sometimes. Just kidding.
Okay,
I'm not that bad
yeah,
of a person. But we offered Johnny a spot, and it looked like he wasn't going to accept it, so we're trying out other pyros, but then he actually did accept, so we're really happy about that. We picked up Cole on Sniper, who was actually the soldier for tryhards last season and decided he wanted to play Sniper and Plat. So he's been pretty fun as well. And then we've been struggling. We were struggling for a scout and soldier. I guess we got lucky that UBS died, and we asked Link User, who previously said he wasn't going to be playing this season. So I messaged him again after UBS died, and we tried him out, and he joined the team like the next day. So that was pretty cool. And we are currently trying to find a soldier still. So unknown player who's going to change everything.
But Cole could like fill in for you if you needed.
We actually, last night we had Cole Soldier, and we had Gravity, who was the sniper on QT's last season, actually play sniper for us. So,
Okay.
But I told Cole, because he wants to play sniper, I told him we'd find a sniper for sure this week. Or a soldier for sure this week, so he doesn't have to play it anymore.
Yeah.
But
All right.
that's the plan.
So you guys had a pretty hard loss last night?
I don't know. I will say, like, with this season, it was a close game, which close games can be close, but it's actually, like, the least negative of a mumble I've been in after a loss. Like,
Well, I meant
everybody,
just like it was a close game.
it
Not
was a
that,
close
like,
game.
Oh, it
Oh, yeah,
sucks.
yeah.
we
It was a
lost.
close game.
Like,
We had a couple mistakes. We wiped off of, like, second one time, giving up third, which really hurt us. We were really close. So I think all the rounds were probably within, like, 45 seconds, a minute, either way. So it's mildly close. Could have gone
Alright.
either way.
All right, and so how are you guys happy with how the like platinum is shaking out so far? Because it's the biggest platinum season we've ever had. 16 teams. Last season we had 8 teams, and I was pretty vocal on this show about we had 9 teams, but 8 of them got to go to playoffs, and I was pretty vocal about how the season wasn't as exciting because everyone got to go to playoffs, and that's when like the real exciting stuff happened, when everyone was like really putting in all their effort to get a spot and to get first place. But now that everyone has to try, you have to make a 50 50% record or better to get a playoff spot, and even then it might just depend on who you played.
Yeah. So I'm pretty excited about the season. I'll say like that's definitely something that like I thought was cool. At least in my opinion, we had a super competitive high gold last season. There's probably like 6-7 teams up there, and then a lot of those teams move up to plat. So in my opinion, at least, I don't want to be like a dick about gold or anything, but like a lot of the competition just moved up to plat, and I didn't want to put together a team to try to stomp plat and get a first place medal.
So, I mean, yeah, that's pretty well known because Mamboulay, you wrote a whole like article like last season about every gold team, saying about how super competitive gold was last season.
Yeah, there were a lot of gold games. I mean, it's tough to say, you know, like I wouldn't say it's not this season of gold is not competitive because talking to some good players, they are saying that gold looks like it's going to be very close to some extent. But I mean, I guess I don't think we see the benefits yet of a bigger plat, and that's why some people are questioning the legitimacy of making plat bigger. But I do think that it can lead to great things, and just because of that, I think it's worth the try. Like many players have wanted a bigger platinum division. This season, the new platinum teams are all there because they want to be, not because they were forced. And this is a summer season. Like even though it is a more serious season because of playoffs, prizes, and the map list, it's still a less serious season to some extent due to the timing. So in other words, everything is there to test it out and see if yes or no, a bigger plat is viable and if it's a sustainable model for future seasons to come. So, I mean, I'm very happy to see a bigger plat this season, and I guess only time will tell if it's a good decision or not.
All right, and
Speaking of,
yeah, go for it. No, go.
I gotta ask. I had an amazing transition, but you ruined it. Speaking of good decisions, let's talk about the bad decisions and the new whitelist for UGC for this season. Big news, Phlogistonator and the Holiday Punch are unbanned, and then we got the Babyface Blaster, which is now banned. So did you guys have any experience in, I mean, we're only one game into the season, but in any scrims or anything, have you seen players utilize this new whitelist, and do you think, I don't know, what do you think about it?
We had Johnny on our team, and actually R5, we played them in preseason. Melon Lord also ran Flog, and it was interesting, I guess, as in, like, you kind of, like, Pyro's at the point where, you know, you get Air Blast and all that stuff, and you can't, I mean, if you remove Air Blast, you know, you don't have Air Blast for Ubers, you don't have Air Blast to extinguish people, deal with spam, any of that kind of stuff, so it just becomes more of, like, a Pyro just kind of plays around on the flank, builds up Flog, and then like runs in and tries to kill people with crits. And it's not really going to work at like a platinum level at all, higher levels, because people just see the Pyro and shoot them, and they got, I mean, unless you can hit like constant meat shots with your shotty, it's just like a large thing. Like Pyro is, you know, using Air Blast to, like, you know, I don't actually play Pyro, so I'm just talking on my butt, by the way. You just use Air Blast and completely fuck up people, and you shoot them in the air, so you don't quite have like the mechanics to really 1v1 as much unless people just let you walk into them and burn them. So lower levels, it'll probably be more effective, but higher levels, it's not going to really make a difference. Holiday Punch, it's a melee on heavy. So, I mean, if somebody pulls off a Holiday Punch in a match, I'll like, I don't even know what that team's doing.
If someone pulls off a Holiday Punch in a platinum game, I think it's going to go like right on XTV's like top 5 plays of the week for sure.
Top 5 plays of all time.
Of all time.
Of all time.
Of all time and all future time.
But yeah, about Flog, I'm gonna. Oh, sorry.
Does Holiday Punch go through the Uber? I just wanted to ask you guys because I've totally forgotten if it does or not. If you hit someone with a Holiday Punch during the Uber, does it? I
have no idea actually. I've never used it.
Yeah.
As a heavy main, I don't ever use Holiday Punch, so.
Yeah. Someone in chat tell me if that's the case, because that would be, I want to see that happen at some point.
Hello? So I've seen it happen once, and it does go through the Uber.
Oh,
okay. By the way, introduce yourself, DJ. You're not.
Hi. Yeah. I might be being weird.
It's okay, man. And yeah.
All
Okay,
right.
so that would be cool though if that would happen. So season, we have maps that are being repeated this time around
In postseason.
in postseason, right?
So,
That was a pretty big complaint from last year.
and I mean, part of this reasoning behind it was that in the playoffs, you don't want to be relearning, or you don't want to be learning new maps. You want to be replaying maps that you're already familiar with, and therefore the margin of like randomness of a team just getting lucky with a weird strat or something is reduced, and it's really more about skill. So you're agreeing with that? You guys were okay with this decision?
Yeah. Well, it's actually good on both fronts too, because I mean, especially with like the bigger divisions, you get a lot of teams that don't make it to playoffs, and they don't get to play maps like Viaduct and Badwater, which are pretty big Highlander maps. And, it kind of sucks to not be able to play some of the best maps in Highlander unless you make it as one of the top 8 teams or whatever for your division. So it's good for everybody all around.
Are you happy with the playoff match choices? Because for your first round, you got to get through CP Steel. Now, I don't know. Oh, well, I guess Platinum will be double them. I don't know about other maps, about other leagues. But you have to play Steel and Upward, which 2 very different maps.
Steel's upset city, so it'll be interesting. I am, at least in Platinum, it's double OM. So, but I guess if you have to play it again on Thursday, I believe that's how it works in Plat. I don't know. We'll see.
That's how
It'll
it
be
was last
interesting at
season.
least. So, I guess it's better than like not having any upsets in Plat or in playoffs at all. But I don't know. It's kind of a question mark still is, because there's some like really good teams who just it's very different than like most other maps. A lot more coordination. I mean, you can be like bottom 4, or not bottom 4, but like a lot lower and upset a higher place team. We've seen it happen several times before, so it can happen again.
Yeah, and there are 2 other like kind of surprises. One of them's big, one of them small. The small surprise is that we're back to Asheville instead of Coal Plant, which was supposed to be Asheville's replacement. I don't know why that's the case.
I know there's a lot of back and forth on the forums last season, because Coal Plant was more of like a 6s map variant of it, I believe, and it doesn't actually, it makes snipers better. It kind of makes that lower area pretty not that great, which like you can definitely see like mids on Asheville are mostly fought underneath the point a lot. At least when I played it in the past, and on Coal Plant, you just like don't go down there because it's just like a death trap unless you're like a flank class. So it changes stuff a lot, and I don't know. I think like it was pretty split, but I think the general consensus was that Asheville's just a better Highlander map.
Yeah, like
than
Coal Plant was
Coal Plant.
in the first place an improvement for 6s mainly, and like they wanted to try it out for a season, but it just seems Asheville was better in general for Highlander, definitely.
And the big question mark this season is back in week 7, which is going to be an exciting week. We're going to see Snakewater. I don't know if it's the first time it's been played in Highlander, but it's the first time in UGC. I think it's been played for a regular season. I could be wrong.
It is.
I think it
and
is.
Yeah, I think it is too. And Mustard is the one. Oh, okay, I'm not gonna say someone.
Mustard.
Sorry, I took that.
Someone.
Some condiment. I don't know who
Now-
it was. It was
now I have to
random
check all of this
flat
out.
player.
Make a little black box over everything.
I mean, he said it openly, so I guess that's fine, right? So Mustard
Yeah.
said, I think he was the one who pushed Snakewater in. So if you guys don't know it, there's this Platinum advisory panel where Plat leaders meet up and discuss about things. Plat leaders have asked this for a while now, and they finally implemented it very recently. So Platinum leaders had a big say in the map list this season, and Mustard, I think, is the one who pushed for Snakewater, which is definitely interesting. Never played before in Highlander. I think it could lead to very interesting stuff. I'm wondering though why they put it in week 7, so later in the season.
Yeah, because that'll be like a make or break map for some people for sure.
Yeah, I'm guessing like their decision was made in the sense that maybe put the more known maps at the beginning of the season. That way chemistry is built, and then later in the season they're gonna have an easier time playing on Snakewater. But
I was gonna say, 'cause if you put it at the front of the season, you got these new teams with no coordination running on a map nobody's played. And it's just chaos. So
That's true.
It's true. It also gives them a chance to do an upset, though. But we're talking.
There
Yeah,
are gonna be
maybe.
plenty of upsets.
Oh, sure. I'm sure.
He doesn't need to help.
Yeah, that's all I have on the roster for things to like talk about. You want to move over to Gully Wash?
were you asking me? Sure.
Yeah.
Both
I'm
of
asking
you.
you. If
Okay,
you're ready to talk about Gully Wash. So, and Pretender, you can switch over the camera over to the TF2 stream we've got going on. Clickety clickety clack.
So speaking of Snakewater and 5CP,
Yep.
onto Gully Wash. How, just as we're getting that up, and before we get into specific parts of Gully Wash, how do you guys, either one of you can answer this, how do you feel about 5CP in general in Highlander?
If neither of the teams are aggressive, it moves pretty slow.
Yeah.
So 'cause there's just a lot of players, and you gotta get picks. So to really do much of anything, or you can just be dumb and just try to Uber in 9v9 and lose. So I've always kind of liked 5CP in Highlander, even though it's slower paced. I'd say I like Koth the most, and then 5CP after that. And then I don't know. I hate Payload just because of my thousands of hours played on Payload servers, I guess.
So is Gully Wash like the best CP map, or you think there are better options out there?
I actually like Process a little bit better personally.
Hmm.
But Gully Wash
well,
is
you
also
know,
pretty good.
I
But, you
prefer
know, that's all an
Gully Wash,
opinion.
so it's really all about.
All right, why do you like Gully Wash, Mamboulay?
I guess like Process is too big. Like I don't know. Well, Process is bigger than Gully Wash. I think we can agree on that. But
Yeah.
I like CP maps in general. You make a mistake and it could lead to bad thing in general. And I think Process just delays everything by twice, pretty much. Like
So-
Gully Wash is closer, aggressive plays can pay off more than on Process, I feel like.
Yeah, it's kind of true.
All right. So if
So, like-
you're like, go for it.
I was just saying, let's talk about this aggressive place. We do have the map up and doing a flyby with Pretender, so thanks for getting that going. Let's talk mid. How do you be aggressive at mid?
You got this, Mambo.
Okay, you want me to go? I guess just go for it. Like, well, are we talking to newer teams or
Just
is it
Are we talking what?
like is this for newer teams out there? Or?
Yes, this is if I have just formed my Iron team and somebody's never played someone's never played Gully Wash before, right? And I want to figure out like
Right.
how to roll out on the map and when do I go the left side or the right side out of the big door, right?
I guess just try different things, but pick a side where you're gonna go to because I've mentored some players in some teams, and sometimes they're gonna be separated. Like they have their demo going left, and then the medic and the heavy are going right by themselves. So that's definitely not the good thing to do. Like pick a side, commit to it, fight as a team from that side, and then start pushing forward. And just be aggressive at mid. Like it's a hit and mid or miss at a mid. So like I've seen some teams playing by big door for a big while, and if you lose that, you're pretty much going to last. So either go big or get back. So
I mean,
All
it's
right.
pretty standard mid. You got a fast rollout to it. You want to pressure one side, and you want to get across and fight them quickly. I mean, if you don't get pressure on that big door, the sniper will just like sit there and he can look at both sides and just pick you off, and you'll have a soldier jump you and spy come in. So it's really about just getting your heels up and getting across point and fighting
Sweet.
them.
All right. So let's say you're successful at mid. You take mid, but you're like half up. You're like waiting on 3 or 4 guys to come up, but your whole core is there, your medic, your demo, and things like that. How do you get around to the second point, which is of course the notorious choke point area where everything seems to stop for the game and people just build up Ubers and then turn around corners and pop Ubers against each other?
Yeah, really like Goalie Wash second, you kind of need some kind of advantage to get in successfully. And even then it can be a little rough because you got like spots you can hold like up top by river, up at the platform if you got a disadvantage. And kite Uber because, I mean, if a sniper's watching or you got stickies up, you might have to pop a little early. So, I mean, it's really about, I mean, that's why it slows so down is, you're just sitting around waiting for a pick is really what you kind of need on goalie watch to push in. And that's kind of like the downside of Highlander. I mean, it happens in sixes too, but Highlander, you got even more players, so it's kind of the same deal. And it's not a very friendly point for snipers. So you'll see snipers just sit by choke and just peek and be like, oh, I've got a foot of space. If a demo walks by, let me try to shoot him in the face, and then we can push. So I don't know. That's kind of where you just got to kind of get in. It's really good if you can roll off mid. You keep your players up. Getting off mid makes it really easy. Other than that, you're going to have to slow down and wait for yourself to get an advantage to get in on that. Otherwise, you're going to lose your push, and they're going to push you back.
And if you're like defending second, how do you like to position yourself for like maximum turtlehood, I guess, and to stage yourself also to be able to attack out of the point if you need to?
If you're going for maximum turtle, you just probably hold up top.
The ceiling or the rafters?
Yeah, up by the rafters, up over at top of river is what, usually called. So, I mean, because at that point you're like well defended enough, you're back. You can have people sit up there. If people jump, you can just shoot them out of the air. You're pretty far back, so if you got like pressure on choke, they're gonna have to pop early to get in, and you can just kind of kite it and then Uber back into them. A little bit later, get a better Uber trade for your team, and you've got high ground. So it's basically like, the best of all things. It's just you're giving them the ability to peek and choke by putting your whole team up there.
But teams don't always do that. So why do like cores like hold around choke, and you see like engineers play around big door a lot of the time with the rest of the flankers like scouts and soldiers a lot of the time. So you get to oftentimes you like see like a half and half fight going on, one around big door, one around choke. Why does that happen often?
It's just you're split up a flank in your combo. So you'll see like, I mean, sometimes you get a little bit of pressure on one side and you're just kind of holding down, and then have your sides pressure until one side gives you an advantage you can push in. And usually you hold a little bit farther back. I mean, it's just if you have a disadvantage, you hold up top because, it gives you more time. Because if you're holding by the big door or you're holding by choke and they just walk in with an Uber demo and an Uber heavy and you're standing there with no Uber, you're basically just died. So you're just giving yourself more space holding up top. And
choke point is a very valid hold because like it's pretty much a doorway pushing out of choke, and it's very easy especially if you're even Ubers, like to just Uber your pyro and it will air blast your whole team. So because it's a small door compared to even big door, you can get more players in from big door, but choke, like all you need to do is Uber your pyro and you can counter their Uber. So I guess it's not that bad to hold close if you want to deny them.
Yeah, I guess the big question is when do you give up second? Like at what point do you? Because oftentimes what happens is a defending team defends. They either properly defend and take back mid, or they just get totally wiped because Ubers happen. Somebody gets a really good jump, and then a medic dies and drops out. But when's a good time to like give up second, realize you've lost it, and like try to set up for the last hold? Because oftentimes people just lose right on the second point, and then last becomes just a cakewalk because there's not a sentry set up. The pyro's not in position to keep people off the last point. So I guess when's the proper time to defend last, and when is it also good just to like put your chips down, go back to last? Does that make sense?
I mean, yeah, it does. Like it's pretty much all an advantage. Like you're gonna have Uber advantage, you're gonna have number advantage, you're gonna lose one of your combo classes, and once like one of those things are in your disadvantage, it's time to like start considering should we back out or not. Like for example, let's say you lose your demo at second. That's a pretty important class, like on goalie wash second. So maybe start. Well, not necessarily back out. Like it really depends on the situation, but like start considering playing more passive. Start buffing your pyro to get ready for a push from the other team. So yeah, just check your advantage, check your numbers, check what classes you have up if you think you can hold this or not, and act in consequence. Like in general, I think what people don't do enough is pretty much press tab and see what kind of advantage you can work on.
So moving on back to last point, there's a lot of ways into last point. There's one, two, three. I want to say there are actually 5 if you count the platform itself as an entranceway. And how important is each like little area when you're attacking last? Everyone seems to set up around lobby and move out from there. But how important is it to hold the chute, which is the top side area, versus just holding general lobby, versus trying to get someone in from below? What are the ways to attack into last, and what are the ways to route their defenses, and depending on how they're set up and everything like that?
The newish meta has been pretty much sending some teammates in. Most of them it's going to be like demo and scout. So from river, pushing them out, pushing the other team out, getting a force maybe, and sending some players under who will be able to get time on the point. And after doing that, they can just re-pressure the team. Because the problem, I guess, with pushing from shutter or from main is you're so far from the point. So like it's going to take a few seconds to get a pop on them, and you're already at a disadvantage, you know? So if you push closer to them from riverside, for example, you can get an early force, you can get some time on point, just back out and re-pressure after. So I think that's been the new meta from a lot of teams I've seen.
So the goal is to like engage at like the closest like distance possible before Ubers are popped?
I mean, the goal has always been to gain advantage to some extent, and by pushing closer, you're able to get a pop earlier. So that's already an advantage.
Sweet. Okay.
It's just easier to get in through river as well. I mean, if they have Uber as well and they have a power station by that shutter and you try to walk through there, you're just going to get air blasted back into it, and then Uber phase and you didn't do anything. So.
All right, and on the other side of the coin, what's your game plan holding out on the last point?
You want to go, Pete? Or?
Sure, I'll go. So usually you'll have your medic, demo, pyro holding over on that shutter side. Same kind of deal. You can put stickies up there. You can put pyro there to kind of keep them from coming in. You just want to kind of deter them from doing that. You want to have probably like a soldier watching that right side river. You need like an engineer. Heavies have been running under a lot as well, because teams will usually, when they come in from that riverside, they'll have 2-3 people come underneath. So you just need to be watching that, and it helps to watch back cap too. And then it's not, and then you can just kind of have sniper peak locations. It's not I mean, Goalie Wash in general isn't a great sniper map, so. But you got a general setup. You want to kind of lock down shutter and lock down that platform that they come in from, so they can't get like really free pressure on your medic. And then stick a couple more people in river to keep the sniper from peeking, and make sure you have people under so they can't back up you. You just got to cover all your spots.
Yep, just got to cover everything and make sure you know where they come from. I've seen a lot of games where like literally everyone just like leaves the point, or there's a huge fight and it's like little on little people, and then somebody jumps from the backside of Goalie Wash and then captures it like the last second that they need, and then they get it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, anything else you want to add about Goalie Wash before we move over to user questions? No?
Nope, I'm good.
No.
Great. Okay. Yeah, let's move on to DJ. I've been taking some questions in the chat. You there, DJ?
Yep, I got it.
Sweet. Okay, sweet. What do you got for us this week, man?
Okay, so as is per usual in 99 Out chat, there's some pretty standard questions, some really interesting questions, and some silly questions. So we'll save the silly ones for last if we have time for them, and then we'll start with the other ones.
Yep, we got a little bit of time here.
All right, cool. So the first question is from Bean. It's a question from Mambo. Wants to know what inspired you to change from demo to medic main.
Right. So it's that's a tough question. I played demo for quite a while. Like back up when I was playing, I played demo all the time. So obviously the switch from medic was quite sudden for me too. I guess I started playing demo in my first season of Highlander, and then in Platinum, actually, if you remember talking about that in season 7, I played with a great medic called Keller Tomato, and he pretty much gave me he's the one who gave me the how would I put this? Like, he's the one who pushed me to go medic. I think it's a very interesting class. He used to be main caller, too, so that's definitely a plus. That kind of pushed me in getting into medic. I can't really pinpoint the exact reason, and I guess that's also why it makes it so magical and so appealing. But I'd say that the thought of having like 8 players rely on you, and also that being a good medic really depends on the smaller details, are what makes it so thrilling to me compared to demo.
Okay.
Thrilling. Wow. Never heard anybody describe medic that way.
I never really heard that either, but I like that you did because I agree with a bunch of the things you said. So that's cool stuff. Another question from Bean. This is another one of those standard questions. We get them often, but it's interesting to see what each guest has to say about it. This one's for Pete. Wants to know, what are the biggest changes about transition from gold heavy to plat heavy? Not quite the entire gold to plat, but just as a heavy yourself.
As a heavy myself, in my opinion, the higher up in UGC you go, like if you play lower level heavy, you'll come in on Ubers a lot and you'll be a pretty important class and you'll be like one of the top fragging classes. And as you get to higher levels, it becomes more and more about like demo. Demo is like definitely the stronger class than heavy, and you become more relegated to just like keeping the medic alive and, you know, helping them get in and out of fights, kind of a deal. So you're not just walking in with 450 and getting solo Ubered and killing everything, because it turns out in Platinum, people know how to run away or not stand right next to the heavy. So, I mean, besides like slightly sobbing every time when I don't get like 7 Ks as we push in, just kidding, that never happened. But it becomes more about just not taking as much damage, and, you know, positioning, of course, it becomes more and more important, and just keeping your med alive. So I guess I don't know.
Do you miss those days where you could single-handedly carry the team on your back?
I wouldn't say I ever single-handedly carried the team on my back, but steel heavy was a lot less stressful. I will say that. And you just got to kind of run around and just shoot stuff, and you're like, life's amazing. My day's so much fun. I just have 450 health. Nobody can kill me. So it was pretty good. Now people can aim, and it turns out heavy's a gigantic target, so it's really hard to not hit the heavy.
Yeah.
So you die really fast if you don't pay attention.
Heavy problems for sure.
Hashtag heavy problems. Mamboulay, what about gold medic to platinum medic?
I guess medic is like one of the classes where it's very hard to some extent to see really a clear difference. I guess it's really in game sense, mainly like the way you see things, the way you coordinate with your team, the way you decide when to flash Ubers or not. Like I said in my previous answer, it's really in the small details that makes a good medic. But like, okay, I don't know how to put it, but like, pretty much like the small detail is what makes a good medic, and you're gonna see it if you watch a top platinum medic and even a low platinum medic. Like, if I compare myself to the top platinum medics, I'm gonna be able to tell you guys, okay, that's what I did wrong. That's why he did this, why I didn't do this. So pretty much that. I'd say also, like, compared to the lower divisions, I guess chemistry kind of, it's always going to be chemistry, but I guess it just clicks once you're in plat. Like, most of your team knows what they're doing, and there's a lot less of micromanaging that needs to be done in order to understand what each player should be doing.
All right.
All right. Well, some great insight. We hear a lot about what it's like to switch as a team. I think it's interesting to get the opinion from just personal members of each team. We've got another question from, let's see here, Link User. Wants to know, this is an actual question this time. I see what you've been posting. This is an actual question. Wants to know what you two think about, or wants to know what your guys' favorite maps are for the upcoming season. To see in the actual map schedule.
Viaduct.
I like Viaduct too, and definitely Badwater and Upward. I like those maps. I like PL maps in general. I think it fits Highlander. Same goes for Coast maps, really. I think they're two game types that just fit Highlander, and I think that's part of the reason why Red Rum, UGC admin, with his map testing group, has been pushing for more cost maps and, well, maybe less maps, but definitely a few more cost maps, because that's definitely what Highlander is all about, really.
Koth definitely seems to be like every year there's like an ace match game on Koth Viaduct, and that definitely seems to be like the biggest, like most legit map that we have. So it'd be nice to have more Koth maps for sure.
Yeah.
We'll say even though Cuties last season got like super upset on Viaduct, is still my favorite map. So good times.
All right. We got another question. This one is from Reasoner J. I thought this question was particularly interesting. It seems like more of a now versus later type question. So gold and platinum both got substantially larger. Very obvious. Everyone knows about it. Yes. Reasoner J wants to know if there's like, what do you guys think about potential problems for it? Specifically, should it be killed? He asked specifically about gold. So, if gold stays as big as it is now, what do you guys think about that?
I think gold division really depends on what they want to do about plat. If they want to have a bigger plat, then they should have a bigger plat, and they can move up gold teams and just have like a healthier big plat. If they want to keep plat small, then I think there does need to be a gold division.
Okay.
So I mean, I think gold really just depends on platinum, in my opinion. What they want to do with that.
I mean, yeah, the problem with gold too is like the UGC is getting so big, like hundreds and hundreds of teams. You need a new division. Like you can't have 4 divisions and stack all of them together. Like at some point, you need that new skill level. And as team improve, like you're gonna need that division between silver and plat, in my opinion. So I do think it's necessary to keep gold. Of course, it got diluted a little for this season. I guess we're just gonna have to wait and see what plat and gold looks like Pete said.
Okay, DJ, two more. Okay.
Okay.
Pick your favorite too.
Okay, I pick my favorite two then. Let's see here. Got those two. Okay, I thought this one's pretty interesting from a first-person point of view. This one's from Bean. Question for Pete. How does the season of Plat compare to when you were in Plat several seasons ago?
I've technically been on a Plat roster.
Yeah,
it's only been one game. I can't really comment on Plat because the previous time I was on a Plat roster, I actually didn't turn on my computer for 2 months, so I technically wasn't on the team. No, that's not true. I played one match as Pyro, and I definitely bottom fragged. So it's better this season because I don't have to play Pyro. I don't know. I think having more of a low Plat is better than having like 2 teams like you saw BFL and UBS last season. Were like really the only 2 teams that they were a step down from a lot of the other teams. So I mean, that's all I can speak on is I think having more teams down there, you either have to have all of them or none of them, in my opinion. So I think that's a good decision. But Mambo played in Plat, so ask him.
I mean, I guess the difference is like even that if you look back even 1 year ago, Highlander was kind of new still. Like people would get into it and kind of just have fun. Like right now, I could say because of the invite limit for sure. It's still pretty recent. I think it was 1 or 2 seasons ago. Like the invite limit, and then there's new meta. Like there's now meta for Highlander, and it's now a legitimate game mode, you know. So if you compare it to sixes, well, it's not on the same level of sixes, but it's definitely getting more serious. Teams are getting more serious. Players are getting more serious. The skill level is getting higher. So definitely, if you compare it to the previous seasons, Highlander is getting a lot more serious, and it's now legitimate game mode in itself.
All right.
So you're an optimist. You're an optimist too about Highlander. That's pretty awesome.
So it's getting better.
Yeah, well, we
Yeah.
have so many people have different opinions on this. Some people are like it's like dying or it's just stagnating, and some people just have like the complete opposite opinion. So it's pretty interesting. Nobody seems to agree about what's happening.
Okay.
All right. Last question, dude.
Last question. This one's a fun one. Yeah. And it's
All right.
appropriate for the cast. Yeah. This is a question for Pete. Mania UGC wants to know if you are actually an Italian plumber who turned Mario.
Yes.
I don't know if I can actually reveal that on stream or not. So add me on Steam and I'll tell you. I'm actually in the witness protection program.
Oh, scandal.
Oh no, we have to
Well,
kill you or something.
Right.
I don't know how.
I don't think that's at all how that works.
if you have to kill everyone, I don't know. Something's gonna happen.
Well,
All
All
right.
right.
I have to say it's pretty cool having some good guys to root for again in Platinum, where there's like definite good guys on a team. So I like having good guys and bad guys for seasons for sure. So it's pretty awesome having you guys on. You guys were awesome. Thanks for starting off the new season of 9 and Out. You guys were great. Thanks, Pete. Thanks, Mamboulay.
Thank you. Good luck in your season.
Yeah, and we're gonna head out. This has been season 2, episode 1. Kip, you got anything to sign out with?
My cat.
Oh yeah, always the cat. Where is she? Oh, there she is. Sweet.
There we go. All right. Nope, that's it.
Okay.
Thanks for joining us for another season of 9 and Out, guys.
Yeah, and yeah, see us again next week, Tuesdays 8 p.m. And I'll see you guys in the next one.